Hello everybody, we're ready for study number 13 in the book of Leviticus, this fantastic Old Testament book that helps all the New Testament make so much more sense, and especially help us when we get into the book of Hebrews, which is the next book that we're going to be studying. But let's look today at Leviticus chapter number 18. Deals with human sexuality. And sexual sin has been a problem, as you will see, even back in the times of Moses. There's, as Solomon said, nothing new under the sun. We're going to look at two questions in Leviticus chapter 18. The first one, what reasons are given for Israel's obedience to these laws, and how important is this obedience? Second question, what light is thrown by this chapter on God's command for the extermination of the Canaanite people? Let's read chapter number 18. If you have your Bible, you can get that out. If not, you can look at it on the screen from the help of our friends at BibleGateway.com. Leviticus 18, chapter about unlawful sexual relationships. Let's look at beginning with verse number 1. The Lord said to Moses, "Speak to the Israelites and say to them, I'm the Lord your God. You must not do as they do in Egypt, where you used to live. You must not do as they do in the land of Canaan, where I'm bringing you. Do not follow their practices. You must obey my laws and be careful to follow my decrees. I am the Lord your God. Keep my decrees and laws, for the man who obeys them will live by them. I'm the Lord. No one is to approach any close relative to have sexual relations. I'm the Lord. Do not dishonor your father by having sexual relations with your mother. She's your mother. Do not have sexual relations with her. Do not have sexual relations with your father's wife. That would dishonor your father." So you see, your father's wife could not necessarily be your mother. Verse 9, do not have sexual relations with your sister, either your father's daughter or your mother's daughter, whether she was born in the same home or elsewhere. Do not have sexual relations with your son's daughter or your daughter's daughter. That would dishonor you. Do not have sexual relations with the daughter of your father's wife, born to your father. She is your sister. Do not have sexual relations with your father's sister. She's your father's close relative. Do not have sexual relations with your mother's sister, because she is your mother's close relative. Do not dishonor your father's brother by approaching his wife to have sexual relations. She is your aunt. Do not have sexual relations with your daughter-in-law. She is your son's wife. Do not have relations with her. Verse 16, do not have sexual relations with your brother's wife. That would dishonor your brother. The one way that would be possible, however, and did occur in the Old Testament, was after the death of your brother. If she did not have children, you had the responsibility to bear children by her. Verse 17, do not have sexual relations with both a woman and her daughter. Do not have sexual relations with either her son's daughter or her daughter's daughter. They are close relatives. That is wickedness. Do not take your wife's sister as a rival wife and have sexual relations with her while your wife is living. Do not approach a woman to have sexual relations during the uncleanliness of her monthly period. Do not have sexual relations with your neighbor's wife and defile yourself with her. Do not give any of your children to be sacrificed to Moloch, for you must not profane the name of your God. I am the Lord. Do not lie with a man as one lies with a woman. That is detestable. Talking about homosexuality there. Verse 23, do not have sexual relations with an animal and defile yourself with it. Bestiality, even in the day of Moses. A woman must not present herself to an animal to have sexual relations with it. That is a perversion. Verse 24, do not defile yourselves in any of these ways, because this is how the nations that I am going to drive out before you became defiled. Even the land was defiled, so I punished it for its sin, and the land vomited out its inhabitants. But you must keep my decrees and my laws. The native-born and the aliens living among you must not do any of these detestable things, for all these things were done by the people who lived in the land before you, and the land became defiled. And if you defile the land, it will vomit you out as it vomited out the nations that were before you. Everyone who does any of these detestable things, such persons must be cut off from their people. Keep my requirements and do not follow any of the detestable customs that were practiced before you came, and do not defile yourselves with them. I am the Lord your God. Let's get back to the questions here. Question 1, what reasons are given for Israel's obedience to these laws, and how important is this obedience? Well, Israel was to be different from the world around them, different from the Egyptians from whom they came out of, and different from the Canaanites to where they were going. And this, especially in this chapter, is talking about when it came to their sexuality, they were to be different. God links perverse human homosexuality, to the destruction of society. And we have, in America, never lived in a time in our nation with such rampant sexual perversion. And it is in the process of destroying our society. It destroys lives. Question number 2, what light is thrown by this chapter on God's command for the extermination of the Canaanites? Perverse sexuality has a way of dragging down an entire culture. The Canaanite people and all of their perverse sexual practices had virtually doomed their society. God wanted Israel to make the contamination of their own culture impossible by completely eliminating that Canaanite threat. When it comes to sexual perversion, we must do everything that we possibly can to eliminate it contaminating our lives, because it will destroy us, it will destroy our family, destroy our churches, ultimately destroy our entire society. If you are struggling with sexual sin, I would encourage you to right now get on your knees before the Lord and just ask Him to help you, help to deliver you, help to set you free from what you're going through. He wants to take that out of your life. He's more than able to do that. You just need to lay it all down at the foot of the cross and ask Him to help you and to remove that sin. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. See you for the next study in Search the Scriptures. God bless.